Hello and welcome back to Rage Gaming. Today we're talking bosses, the new target bosses that we have in Season 3. I say new bosses because, while yes, we only have the one new in the Echo of Malphas, we also have updates to the Season 2 picks, like the Beast in the Ice, and some important changes with that, like it no longer being a pain in the ass to even reach the guy, as well as the new item pool of drops. And we actually have an alternative option for 925 drops, instead of just Duriel. Though, let's be honest, all paths will lead back to Juriel eventually. So this video is just a quick guide to farming the bosses, what matters most and why, the main details and what's changed. Let's get started with the most important thing to know before you farm any bosses. That's your blessings. These are gained by completing your free battle pass, and as we get these smoldering ashes, you can spend them on these upgrades, as I'm sure you know. 3 of these really matter: the Urn of Helltides, Urn of Tuning, and Urn of Whispers for what we're talking about today. If you are going to be farming Grigoire, that means you're going to be doing Helltides, so I recommend you max out your Urn of Helltides. If you're going to be farming Varshan, you're going to be doing Whispers, so it's great to have this maxed out instead. For the new unique stones that we're getting by beating the Echo of Malphas and opening the chests at the end, the big ones, you definitely want the Urn of Tuning maxed out because you might get additional tuning stone drops, and that could be the new unique stones if you're lucky. So just make sure if you're doing one of these types of content, you take something out, put it in something else, and it's not that expensive to do. At least that's before we've maxed out the battle pass, and that'll happen long term. Okay, so I'd made this whole video only for them to suddenly announce late last night a new patch, which they've now launched, so I'm doing this a second time, so we're gonna have the original context with the new stuff as well. So malphas is the boss in question we're starting with, found in the World Tier 4 version of the Vault of the Loom, which you find in the new hub, Gate Hall. You'll head in and progress the vault, finding the Echo of Malphas at the end. Previous to this new patch, Malphas was surprisingly weak, and now he's been buffed up, so instead of say being level 85, he's level 100 and a lot stronger. Also previously, you'd have to spend pearls at the start to actually, generate stacks as normal. These stacks are going to be spent on the chests inside, just like a normal vault, except there's more minor chests in here than normal. There's 8 total. On the other hand, you'd also have to spend pearls to even enter this special vault. 10 pearls and 250 shattered stones would open the door. Since that's ridiculous for a reason I'm about to explain, they've thankfully changed that. Now it costs a new resource entirely called igneous cores. You'll need 7 of these, and you'll find these in the same tab as say your sigils. For some reason they don't go into the currency infinite storage thing. They're now taking up a slot. In any case, we can get these cores as a chance drop from Vault Heralds, and they also always drop from the Son of Malphas enemies. You find these in World Tier 4. It's a new mini boss that can spawn in the vault sometimes, comparable to the Butcher, but you also see him in the open world, which is what happened to me today when farming these braziers. The consistent method is Vault Herald farming though. It'll give you a ton of pearls of warding while you're doing it, and also it's going to massively level your Construct Companion stones too, because they buff that. You simply find any volcanic brazier in the open world, you spend elemental cores and shattered stones to summon these heralds, picking up those cores from say the obelisks in the same area. And with this being brand new and everyone needing these new items, the braziers are basically constantly going in the open world. This is definitely the time to do this farming. In this new patch though, they changed things because players were not using the pearls in normal vaults, only in this special Vault of the Loom. You do the normal vaults once and the special Vault of the Loom once, and you go, well, why would I ever spend pearls anywhere but the special Loom? To me, anyone who plays the game would work this out. So that's the new way we're going to be entering this Torment version of the Vault of the Loom, aka the Uber Vault. Why are we doing this? Well, it's to kill Malphas and open his chest to get the unique stones for your Construct Companion of Evernight and Genesis. Evernight providing +4 to all skills when the skill that is supporting is used for 2 seconds, and Genesis, which is going to increase the effectiveness of the supportive skill by 150%. Best used with Flash of Adrenaline here, improving the damage bonus greatly. I would actually recommend you run that on Flash of Adrenaline most specifically, while whatever offensive you're using should have Evernight supporting it. So insanely, these were ultra rare. They revealed the odds of getting one of these stones per Malphas kill was an incredible 0.25%. Essentially, these were not going to drop. The new number is 0.5%, which is double but still tiny. Fortunately, they've also made the chests after the boss have a 3% chance to drop the stones, costing you 10 and 4 war stacks for the large and medium one, so 14 to open both at the end. This is written as now has a 3% chance, which does imply that these chests did not drop the unique stones before, which is incredibly dumb. So hopefully that's not actually how it was. We put them in the game, they're a new thing, they're going to be gone after this season's done, and they basically made it so rare they don't exist. That comedy aside, now you have a much better chance to get them on the boss kill, and a strong reason to actually open the final chest after you do kill this Echo of Malphas. The way it's written implies either chest might drop the stones, so opening them both should be a 3% roll twice. That's going to be very worth it. We also have great news about Malphas too. Since he's been raised in level and given a 30% health increase, he's actually going to be dropping 925 items in this Echo version, making him a relevant fight long term for drops. In my experience, they are not all 925 items, just a chance to be, which is something, but to be honest, if Duriel's going to be guaranteeing doing it, why is Malphas not also only dropping 925s? But for now, you actually have to do the mechanics, and it is fun. Taking out the conduits that put him into different modes is definitely the key. The longer he's in one element, the more those mechanics get dangerous, but I find, say, leaving him in the electric mode easiest because of those mechanics being easy to avoid. I should also mention that you'll now get more warding stacks for spending pearls at the start. We get 3 stacks per pearl before, now we're getting 10 per pearl, which is so much better. They've even increased the grace period after you're hit by a trap, and they've even nerfed the size and speed of various traps too. This is overall a great update to what was a very strangely designed and poorly balanced system. Next up then, the most changed of the target bosses is the Beast in the Ice. Pretty cool fellow, pun intended, and is much less annoying to interact with this season compared to season 2. Before, you'd have to clear out an entire nightmare dungeon's worth of enemies and travel distance to actually reach this boss, but now we have a much shorter clear comparable to the entrance section of a vault before the actual vault, at which point you fight the classic Beast in the Ice, which is mechanically unchanged. As usual, I recommend max cold resistance if you're under-leveled for this, but I'm sure you'll be fine long term. But the Beast does have a new loot pool since we have new items this season. He'll now drop the Beastfall boots for rogues, the Mutilator plate for necromancers, the Starfall coronet for the sorcerers, the Ring of the Ravenous for barbarians, and the unsung ascetics for druids, as well as that new universal, the Pain Gorgeous gauntlets. This is all on top of his regular loot pool that the Beast previously had. To fight the Beast in the Ice, you're going to need these items. Distilled Fear. You'll need 9 of them total. When you've got 9 or more, you can go to any occultist and go to the Craft Sigils tab. Under Ancestral at the top here, we have the Glacial Fissure Tier 31 Nightmare Dungeon. This is going to generate the sigil that actually leads you to the Beast in the Ice. And as you can see, it costs the 9 Distilled Fear and 250 Sigil Powder. This will lead to 1 kill of the Beast in the Ice, but you can join other people's sigils, so again, best done in a group. Next up though, we have Grigoire, the big steel unit tied to Hail Tides at Lightning Element fight. This was thankfully improved after some changes back in Season 2. You will now get the summon item, which is this, Living Steel, much more commonly. You can fight Grigoire in World Tier 3 if you want, where the Living Steel cost is only 2, but more importantly, the Torment version is going to cost you 5 Living Steel per summon. You get these from the Tortured chests in the Hail Tides, previously only in the Living Steel chests, which cost 300 cinders to open back in Season 2. Now they cost slightly less, 275 per, and again drop the Living Steel in greater numbers. The Hail Tides had a big change too. They happen for 55 minutes every hour now, only a 5-minute gap between them, so much more consistent, which is another change that happened in Season 2. Once you have your Living Steel ready to go do some summons, you're going to need to go to his specific dungeon, which is this one, the Hall of the Penitent, which is just south of Ked Bardu. By working your way through the dungeon entrance, which is pretty short, you'll find a summon pedestal, which of course costs the Living Steel to summon him. He'll spawn in, you kill him, and you get your rewards. Importantly, in World Tier 4, he'll also drop these items, Shards of Agony. These are required to summon Duriel, the most important boss that generally exists. You'll need 2 of these to summon 1 Juriel though, but there's another item you're going to need, the Mucus Slick Eggs, and that comes from Varshan, so let's talk about him. Varshan was our first target boss introduced in Season 1, and is back in the same form as his Season 2 version. The entrance to his dungeon is found to the east by the Whisper Tree in this Malignant burrow. To summon him, you're going to need 4 items, a Trembling Hand, a Gurgling Head, a Malignant Heart, and Blackened Femur in World Tier 4. You only need 1 of each though, and you can get these from a couple sources. The main one is by completing the Tree of Whisper challenges, and by handing those in, you'll get the rewards as normal, but also 1 of these items, or maybe multiple of them. The other way to get them is by going to an alchemist, and by going to the Refine Resources tab, you've got these summon items here, and you can spend resources to RNG a different body part to get whatever you're missing, or be more specific and spend Malignant hearts to specifically get the other parts. When you're ready though, you can go into the tunnel and go to the end and summon Varshan and defeat him, and just be aware that he had a new loot pool as of mid-season 2, the Malignant rings. These are a way to get some of the better powers found in season 1 on a ring item, and they can be very good depending on your class. Other than that, his drop pool is the same, and as he's only level 75, he shouldn't be too hard of a fight, just like the others. Just be aware that you definitely want to kill the ads he spawns in so he can't get their powers, and try to avoid his auto attacks, which can silence you, which is annoying. Now after killing a Varshan in World Tier 4, you'll get one of these, the Mucus Slick Eggs, and you'll need 2 of these to summon Duriel, as well as the Shards of Agony that I mentioned. So let's talk about Juriel. All paths lead back to Juriel because he consistently drops 925 level items. This is an extremely important detail because that's going to lead to the highest roll of items you can get. This will be vital for you to farm ASAP when you hit World Tier 4 as soon as you can, or maybe get some friends to carry you. The 925 items also means the highest rolls for aspects and even uniques that are affected by item level, such as X-Fouls, which is a major issue with Diablo 4's item design, which we hope to see improved in season 4. Thankfully though, 925 items can actually be gained somewhere else in this season, in nightmare dungeons and vaults at high tiers. So at least there's now an alternative. However, with Duriel being the source of uber unique farming, you're probably just going to be better off farming Duriel, which is a problem. To summon Juriel then, we're going to need to go to the southwest of the map, to the Gaping Crevasse, just east of Grigoire. With 2 Shards of Agony and 2 Mucus Slick Eggs per summon from Grigoire and Varshan as explained, you can summon Duriel, who's a level 100 compared to the other bosses, and poison based, so definitely max your resistance for that. The item pool is the same though there has been some uber unique rebalancing, so the previously terrible uber Starless Skies is now one of the best. My advice is to kill Duriel as much as you can as early as you can to get a good source of 925 items to base your builds on. Maybe you'll get lucky and get an uber unique. However, if you're not farming uber uniques, I would not farm him long term. It's definitely not worth the suffering that basically is. You can do high tier nightmare dungeons and vaults to get the same power items, and that way you'll also get glyph XP, which we definitely need. Last up, the last boss to mention is the new boss of Season 2, Lord Zir. To find Lord Zir, you'll need to come to Kiovoshad. Just to the southeast is the Darkened Way. Heading through there, you'll find another summon pedestal, but this one requires a different resource. That is Exquisite Blood here, and you're going to need 9 of them per 1 summon of Zir. These are gained by completing open world Legion events, as well as world bosses, making them even more worth doing early. Zir drops are the same as before though, and his main damage type is Shadow. He only has one attack that's kind of scary, that big cleave that will prep in front of himself, sometimes after teleporting. But since he's a very easy enemy, we should be able to crush him very quickly in endgame either way. But that's everything you need to know about these target bosses in Season 3, the relevant details, the important changes. I hope this was helpful to you. If I did miss anything, be sure to drop it in the comments, maybe it'll help someone. But for now, I've been Hollow, you've been you, thanks for watching.
Josh, Cotton, and Hollow with the videos, dropping the humor like a hammer on your tippy toes, bringing entertainment on a daily arrangement to take our insanity and turn it into entertainment. Yes, I said entertainment twice, to reiterate that it is nice to look into your faces on a mostly daily basis when you let us in your homes to make the whole world a stage. Goodbye.